speaker for today. His name is Dr. Daniel Rasmussen. He is nationally certified diplomat of Oriental medicine, acupuncture, and an Eastern medicine practitioner licensed to practice in the state of Washington. He is a graduate of Bastyr University here in Seattle, and in 2008, he did a residency in an integrated hospital in Shanghai, China, working with doctors who were pioneering integrated Eastern and Western medicine. He is featured in the Continental Who's Who's publication, which is one of the growing publishers of professional and executive biographies of business leaders, who's who in the world of achievers. He is a recipient of Top Doc Award for Washington practitioners specializing in integrated medicine. He is the founder of Pinnacle Integrative Health, and their team of Western and Eastern practitioners work side by side to get to the root causes of chronic disease and pain. Our small team is caring and passionate about helping people make permanent transformational changes in their health. We are excited to have Daniel sharing the information with us today. We are very grateful that you took the time to be here and be with us. Before we start, I just want to make two promises to everyone on our webinar today. Promise number one, this will not be a waste of your time. We are going to dispel myths about belly fat, thyroid symptoms, gut health, and present a new approach that has helped thousands reverse the slow collapse of their health over time. Promise number two, during the webinar today, you will be given the chance to have an assessment and evaluation of your health and challenges. This assessment and evaluation session is guaranteed to bring you clarity to your current situation. So let's go ahead and get started with our 3-day challenge kicked off right here by Dr. Daniel.
Thank you very much, Sam, for that intro. I just want to welcome, so far we've got Anita. Nice to see you, Anita. Hope you're doing well. And hopefully we've got some other, some more people are starting to log in. So if you're just getting logged in, we're just getting started. Went through Sam just went through the introduction, but in order to stay on time, we've got a lot of information to cover. This 3-day session, this 3-day challenge is designed to give everyone who tunes into this some immediate things that you can do right now to start moving the needle on getting, converting some of your energy stores into, which is basically fat, and converting that into energy. And shifting hormones, looking at gut health. We're going to talk about it all. But this is the next 3 days you want to stay on so that you can get the full benefit. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we will get started. All right, I just need to get to the beginning here. There we go. Okay, so how to convert weight gain into fit, muscle in your 50s, even if nothing else has worked. So how many of you are here because you're like, man, I'm getting into my 50s, maybe my 60s, maybe some of you are in your 70s, and you want to put on more muscle. Maybe you want to lean up. Maybe you mostly just want to feel better in your body than you ever have before. You're realizing that your health is your most important asset. So if that's you, you're in the right place, because that's what we're going to be covering today. And I really want to express appreciation for you guys being on this webinar, because it shows me that there are people out there who are ready to do something different with their health. So Now, Mark Twain, this quote from Mark Twain, I love this. He says, the secret to getting ahead is getting started. So the information I'm going to be sharing with you today can be, potentially life-changing. And in order to do that, there are two parts to learning. First, you set the intention that you want to learn something new and valuable. And then there's attention. So intention and attention. Now, attention helps you capture the message. So I'm going to ask you guys to put away your distractions for just a little while, because we've got just a small amount of time to cover a lot of information that we can take your health from a lower level to an upgraded level. Even if you're someone who is just entering on a weight loss journey or a physical fitness journey, or maybe you're someone who's been down the road of health already, and you've done a program with us maybe, and you're looking to fine tune and optimize your health, or maybe you're someone who's slid back and put on 50 or 60 pounds, and you're saying, holy smokes, I don't know how I'm going to be able to turn this around. So no matter where you're at in your journey, we're going to give you some unique insights today that you've never heard anywhere else. But all it takes is a little focus and attention. So let's jump in. Our objectives for today, here's what we're going to cover. Day 1, which is today. Day 2 is tomorrow, same time, 6 o'clock. Day 3 is Thursday, same time, 6 o'clock. And I'm going to give you guys homework steps to do immediately. So day 1, what we're going to talk about is how to quickly overcome the 3 barriers that lead to weight gain, which are inflammation, tiredness, and toxins, so that you can fit into those genes you've been wanting to fit into. And the thousands of people that we have run tests on and come through our programs, we've discovered that they have inflammation levels, high levels of inflammation. They have tiredness, and they have systemic toxins. So we're going to show you how to get rid of these barriers. When you save those old genes that you don't fit into anymore, you save them just in case, right? So, you got them back in the back of the closet somewhere. Day 2, we're going to learn, which is tomorrow at 6 p.m., we're going to learn the secrets of feeling your best by repairing long-term hormone damage that wears you down. Specifically, we're going to be talking about long-term damage, specifically leaky gut. We're going to be talking about leaky gut tomorrow and really focusing in on that. You're going to learn a lot. Day 3, we're going to find out solutions to restore cardio and brain health by turning on this surprise diminishing hormone for good. You got to turn that hormone on for good. And because what happens is every single decade of life, there are hormones that drop in production, and it's due to inflammation damage. One of those is testosterone or even estrogen, right? So they drop 10% every decade. And then there's your growth hormone, which is also dropping by 10% every decade. So that will be on day 3. So first of all, I want to, the design of what we're going to be sharing with you and the design of our programs is a little mind-boggling, because what we're going to do is essentially how to see things with your health in regards to your health that you've never seen before. You never looked at it this way before. So this is critical. And think about fly fishermen. You see them out there. I don't know if any of you have ever seen fly fishermen, but they've recently had this technique that they do. They can put on these glasses. They're basically special lenses that help them see in the water and see where the fish are. And so these special lenses are actually helping them see the world in a different way. How many of you would agree that how we look at the world is how we receive the world, right? Would you guys agree with that? So I'm not a fisherman, but my uncle was when I was growing up, and he tried to teach me how to fly fish, and I just never quite picked it up. But I did some research on these lenses are basically polarized lenses. That's what they do. And when you put them on, it suddenly gives a totally new perspective. So you can actually see the fish down below into the water and throw and cast there, and you got a fish. So because I know a lot of you've been struggling, you've been trying different things when it comes, to capturing your weight loss and getting better energy. and fitting into those jeans that you want to fit into, or the dress, or the clothes that you really like to wear, but you can't fit into it. And actually looking and feeling your best, that's another thing you want, right? You want to feel and look your best, but you don't quite have the right clarity and vision. There's just not enough perspective for you to get the results that you've been looking for. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be sharing with you today. It's kind of like putting on new glasses, new lenses over your eyes, so you can get a totally fresh new perspective and see the amazing new opportunities that exist. So let's everyone just, put on those figurative glasses and getting ready for the new hope-filled future. So now, when is the best time to work on heart disease and arthritis? Is it after you get the disease, or is it before? How many of you would say it's before, right? So it's like when is the best time to plant a fruit tree? 20 years ago, because you'd be enjoying the fruit now. So prevention is the superior way to create health that you want in the future. And oftentimes it's too late once it happens. Once disease happens, it's often a little late. So you're here because your goals don't include living the last 10 to 15 years of your life spent in a nursing home, dependent on others, without movement, and with a body that has a lot of pain and maybe some crazy diseases that, you're just at that point of just trying to manage so you can just eke out an existence. We want you to thrive. We want you to, when it comes to your health, we want you to be absolutely thriving. So I know you're here because you said, that's not me. I'm not going to live I'm going to live my fullest, best life up to my last breath. Maybe you're here and you're already putting your health as your top priority, and you just want that edge, that extra knowledge to optimize. And maybe you're already working on your health and you don't want another lecture about, the old diet and exercise, song and pony dance. So you just want the facts. That's why you're here. So that's what we're going to cover today. You've worked hard in your life and you want to enjoy it. So we don't want to end up with Alzheimer's and dementia and disease. You want your body and shape of your hair and your fitness level on point. So people who believe that age is an excuse for poor health habits, this is just to make sure you're not in the wrong place. These are the people who this is not for. Those who aren't open-minded to a brand new approach. This webinar is not for people who, individuals who aren't serious about extending their lifespan 10 or 20 years. And I'm not kidding when that's possible, when I say that's possible. This is not for people who are unwilling to uncover cellular interferences with the right testing. This webinar is not for those who aren't interested in giving up limiting beliefs about themselves and who blame others for their health. This webinar is not for individuals who just don't believe in investing in their health. Those who just want to rely on their disease insurance, right? Health insurance is really just disease insurance. It's if you have a crisis with your health, then you have coverage. So how many of you would say you're open-minded to new possibilities? Type in just number 1 in the chat if you're open to new possibilities, that idea that there's just something out there that you haven't tried yet. Yeah, so let's just see here. Cool. Anita, Chandrain, awesome. Thank you for typing into the panelist box. Yeah, so, one of the important things about, one of our promises is, today I'm sharing with you what is possible. If you remove the barriers that prevent you from progressing, you can convert body fat into energy, increase your muscle mass and mobility. You'll be able to increase your bone density and balance improvements. Your skin's going to start glowing. Your hair is going to grow back. Your body composition will be optimized. You'll have a diminished risk for cardiovascular disease, for cancer, and diabetes. So there are huge benefits to addressing your health on a holistic level. So if you stay until the end, the first 20 who reserve their initial Accelerate Wellness session will qualify for $200 off your initial Accelerate Wellness consultation. So there's a little bonus there for you. So no matter how many people tell you that there's nothing you can do about your health issues, you just have it. You have to, you just have this. You have diabetes, you have cancer. You're going to have to live with it. You're going to have to live with the pain. This is not true. This is a myth. Is huge myth. So many doctors had told my mom when she was dealing with her health issue that she was going to have to be on medications the rest of her life. Thank God she didn't listen and just accept that myth, because she's off all her medications now and she's one of the healthiest individuals. She's probably going to outlive me and my sisters, her 3 kids. So my name is, again, is Daniel Rasmussen. I'm a public speaker, pain expert at Pinnacle Integrative Health and Wellness. We've got a new medical model and award-winning medical team here in Seattle. We've helped over 30,000 patients move towards health independence and beat chronic autoimmune and degenerative conditions. So I am part of the team of designer of the Pain Reset program, and we help people get out of pain so they can get their life back. And how did I get into this field of medicine? Well, my mom really inspired me. I grew up in Idaho, country kid, and I saw my mom really struggling with her health. And she had gone through the conventional medicine route of just the spiral downward of medication after medication. And she wasn't getting any better. In fact, she was getting worse. And it was turning into depression and hopelessness and even suicidal at some point, ideation, because she's like, if this is what the rest of my life is going to be like, she felt like, why bother? And so she met Dr. Barney. Someone referred her to this integrative medicine specialist. He was a regular doctor, medical doctor. Had gone back to school to get his acupuncture degree, his oriental medicine degree, and had integrated the two together. And so he ran a bunch of tests and found out that she had some hormone imbalances. She had some systemic inflammation, which was all triggering. Biotoxins had been accumulating in her body, and her neurotransmitters were not firing like they should. So it was, all related to gut health, hormone imbalance, neurotransmitter imbalances, and she was just being pumped full of chemicals, and it wasn't working. So Dr. Barney took her through an entire program where she made some lifestyle adjustments. She made some dietary adjustments, really stuck to the treatments that he was giving her. Acupuncture, they did some emotional freedom technique treatments to help her process some of the emotions of trauma that were in her body and trapped in her body. And I would say in about between 6 and 8 months, her health did a complete 180. She was off. Her regular doctor took her off of all the medications because her labs went back to normal, and her energy came back, her depression disappeared. And I saw that process, that transformation, the literal transformation that she made. And I told Dr. Barney, I told my mom, I was like, I want to go talk to Dr. Barney because that's what I want to do. I want to help people in that regard. And he became a mentor of mine, and he's the one that turned me on to this whole world of integrative and holistic medicine, and really helping people get to the root of the problem and correct the problem for life, not just a temporary fix. So that's how I got into this. I just enjoy it. I love what I do. I love helping people. So I want to talk about Barbara here really quick. Barbara says, she went from chubby and tired to fit and fired up. And this took about 6 months for her to get to that point, but along the way, she was making good progress. Barbara is a 56-year-old female. She was overweight, about 30 pounds. And that she wanted one of her goals was to lose the 30 pounds. And I always interviewed her. I was like, Barbara, if you don't do this, what's the end result? And she just said, I don't even want to think about it. You know, my health, I've got to do something about my health, because if I don't, it's just going to get worse. And it's been getting worse. So she had tried all the diets. She tried all the specialists. She tried all the exercise routines. You know, no one really took the time to find an answer for Barbara. So we did some testing. We found out she was inflamed. She was told she needed a knee replacement, and she was like, no way. You know, she couldn't sleep at night, waking up several times a night, no reason. Her body was just in pain all the time, every time she tried to move it. What was worse, an insult to injury, is her doctor told her that, you know, all her labs are normal. So she just reached that point where she's like, this is not the life I want to live. And, you know, she had headaches, she craved sugar, she craved fast food, all the things that were terrible for her. Her digestive system was really sluggish. She was constipated, you know, every couple of days she would have a bowel movement. She just didn't feel good. So she's irritable. She noticed several skin tags starting to form, some sunspots. You know, her personal life was impacting her professional life. She was looking at a cutback in work because she was calling out so much. You know, so this was Barbara's story. You know, as Barbara left work, she realized that one day she had to take a completely different path if she wanted to stay employed. You know, she wondered if she was going to start falling apart. You know, even her relationships with her kids were starting to suffer. Her marriage was strained. You know, she felt like she was just teetering on the edge, just hanging on. And she realized, this isn't me. What is going on? So she met with us. Barbara was referred to us by one of her friends who went through one of our programs and had tremendous transformation in her health, a total 180. And Barb realized, you know, there was no silver bullet for her body. So, you know, we did some testing, and she, you know, realized through the testing that she had excessive amounts of inflammation. She had biotoxins that were trapped in her body, and her hormones were out of balance. So she also had certain peptide and nutritional deficiencies that showed up on her testing. So her body was not absorbing nutrients. She wasn't eating the right foods. She was getting biotoxins, and she had systemic inflammation, and it was manifesting in a way that was making her become totally dysfunctional, like not able to function in her life. One of the first thing we did was we ran the correct tests. And now this is a sample of one of the tests, one of our mini tests, and it's like no other test. This is amazing. We look at oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are the little power units inside every one of your cells of your body. We looked at her omega balance, her toxic exposure, and her methylation imbalance. And so it tells the levels, all these things, that where there's dysfunction, and which all of these things together explain why her body was gaining weight, as well as other diseases that were starting to form. And this test will also measure, we also do blood work in addition to this test. So it's such a fundamental thing, a starting place that you can do is do a blood draw, and we can do the blood draw at any LabCorp location. So it doesn't have to be at our clinic in Seattle, but that's one of the things that we analyze. And so we started designing the steps of her program. And one of the other things that we did in her program is we designed protocols to optimize her health, remove toxins, restore her gut health, rebalance her hormones naturally. We designed her program to restore deficiencies, remove the interferences that were preventing her body from healing and rebalancing itself. And we do this with a variety of treatments, including peptides that are made at a compounding pharmacy. We're going to talk about those. Targeted nutritional supplementation, herbal medicines, acupuncture, all the treatments that we could do to get her body to stimulate it, to give it what it needed to start self-correcting and healing. And the crazy thing that happened for Barbara was that she did a 21-day vibrant energy transformation protocol as part of her overall program. And we also prescribed peptide therapy for her. Now, peptide therapy, Barbara said peptide therapy changed the way I metabolized food. She could feel it happening. Semaglutide is one of the peptides that, as an example. And the benefits of semaglutide is it decreases body fat, it decreases weight, it's a potent fat burning activator. It may suppress the appetite a little bit. It improves blood sugar regulation. So we start to see a reversal of type 2 diabetes, and it gives the body more control over insulin. And it also reduces food cravings like sugar and carbs. The advantages of semaglutide include its robust and sustained effects on glucose levels and weight loss. So it's really, this is just an example of one of the peptides. And, Barb noticed that her body just switched on her metabolism. And it took about a month, but it activated her fat burning capabilities, not to mention it freed up all that fat as it started to be burned for energy. She had all this trapped energy in her fat stores, and her energy went way up. So we can see here, this is Barb, this is before and after. She had twice the energy. She's now outlasting her grandkids. She's totally pain-free in her knee, took all that weight off her knee, and the inflammation went away. So she got no more threat of a TKR, which is total knee replacement. Her brain just switched on and started functioning again. No more anxiety and brain fog. She's got more freedom to work towards goals, the bigger goals in her life. Think about that. What are your goals in your life that you just don't have the capacity to move toward because of your health? And we also addressed her thyroid fluctuations, which were based on inflammation patterns in her body. So it's pretty impressive. As you can see, she lost about 30 pounds, and her whole health from the inside out, from the top down, was restored. So some of you may be thinking, well, good, that's good for Barbara, good for her. Maybe that's a one-off, but actually we see this time and time again in our practice. So many of our patients come in and they don't feel like there's hope. Their body's just beat up. It's in pain. It's inflamed. They don't know what to do. And then they go out later, a whole new person, transformed from the inside out, feeling so much better. This was Barbara that's saying this. She says, I couldn't make the changes in my lifestyle that she did. Some of these things that you're thinking, and is that little voice in the back of your head, Barbara also had those. And I can tell you about this concept. It's two types of results. One is called a linear result, when you do one thing and you just make one type of result, and it's just temporary, like it gets temporary results. And then there's the second type of result. It's called residual results. This is when you are doing one thing and it leads to multiple results over and over again. It's similar to an investment where you get compounded interest, and the interest builds and then it pays interest on that. And then that interest builds and it pays interest on that. So those results just keep coming back to you. So if you look at your health right now, and you could prioritize your health for a little while, would that give you compounded interest on your health? And it would save you a lot of time in the future with medical bills, with downtime. So how many of you would agree that if you knew how to maximize action in a way that by doing the right things, you started getting residual results? So maybe, you're busy, you're overwhelmed, but I can tell you, if you just take a minute and focus in on this information, we're going to show you ways that you can get residual results that will change your health for the long term. You'll actually be giving yourself a gift that will still be giving 10 years from now. And you'll look in the mirror and the bags under those eyes are gone. You'll look great and you'll feel great. And you'll look back on this time, so grateful for a decision that you made now, invested the resources that were available now. So we've got 3 keys to success, 3 keys to succeed and accelerate your wellness. 1 is analyze. So we've got to do testing. Number 2 is optimize, looking at your hormones, optimizing, for energy levels, optimizing for reducing inflammation. And we've got to analyze and look for why you're so tired, why your energy is gone, why your body is so toxic. Where is all that coming from? So that analyze is the first step. Is you got to analyze what's going on there. 2, optimize. 3, transform. So the first 60 days is a reset. We've got to deal with mindsets, adrenal gland response, and hormones. Then the second 60 days is dealing with DNA damage, detoxification, and mitochondria. Mitochondria are the little power units inside the cell. Once you get those working, the cellular energy starts coming up and going through the roof. And then the third 60 days is restoration, metabolic flexibility, gut health, cognition. And then this leads to a reclamation, a reclaiming of your confidence, a reclaiming of your lifespan and your relationships. And this is what we call residual results. Imagine going into your house and only having half the lights, working in the house. How is that okay? So many people are functioning okay for, half the day, and then the remainder of the day, they're exhausted and they're sitting in front of the TV, which then leads to even worse choices for your health. So now, the HPA stress axis, number 1, body mind reset. You got to look at how you're sleeping. You got to reset your mindset. Then we got to look at gut health, possibly do some cold exposure, some types of targeted exercise that's going to improve gut health. And then we got to deal with insulin resistance. And so these are all of the simplest things that we can distill down that work for every patient all the time. So 3 things Barbara committed to. She committed to being coachable and willing to take action. 2, she committed to focusing on her progress, not being perfect. So just making daily progress. She also focused and committed on committing to never let her self-doubt stop her from having what she wanted. That little nagging self-doubt voice in the back of your head that says either you don't deserve this, or you don't have time, or you don't have the ability to invest in your health. If your health is your goal, you just don't let it slip in. Don't let doubt sink a ship. Doubt can sink a ship. We're here every step of the way to support, encourage you, and with non-judgmental, hard love. So how many of you are excited to learn what this process is? Any questions so far? I want to just check in and just see if we have any questions. Okay, looks like Sam is kind of handling some questions on the back end. So Sam, just let me know if we have any questions that come up. All right, so many of you, just like Barbara, our case study that we just talked about, you could keep doing what you're doing and what you've been doing and hope for a different result, but probably not. Or, you can do something completely different like Barbara and get a completely different result. And she's been wanting to do that for a long time. One of the biggest problems with healthcare today is that they are usually looking too shallow with their testing. They're not testing deep enough. So one way you could treat a sick tree, if you have a tree that's not doing well in your yard, is you could go out and paint the leaves green, right? And you make it look healthy. But is that really deep down? Is that tree going to get better? No, you've got to get to the roots. You got to treat the roots and get the water clean and possibly fertilizer. And it's the same with the fishbowl. Theory 1, how would you treat a sick fish in a fishbowl? You can look at the water and the water looks disgusting and the fish is, like dull and it's not, glowing. And so what you do is you just medicate the fish to deal with the sick environment. Or theory two, you clean the fish tank. You clean up the environment in the body, and all of a sudden the cells have what they need and they start glowing. So this is a systematic approach. 94% of all failures is due to not having a system in place, or if they do, it's the wrong system. Okay, so do you believe that the body has its innate ability to heal itself? And let me and if you do, let's access that capability. This is how you truly fix the problem. The problem with symptom priorities is when you treat symptoms, you go to drugs and surgery. It's a one size fits all treatment. It's reactive instead of proactive, and it's reductionistic. It's like boiling it down to one symptom, one drug. It emphasizes genetic predispositions. Oh, well, it's just in your genes. You can't do anything about it. How disempowering is that to hear, well, it's just in your genes. You got cancer. There's nothing you could have done about it. Symptom management is extremely expensive, financially draining. Whereas you look at system over on the right column, we're looking at the causes, how to prevent disease and how to increase and improve performance of the body in the health. We look at lifestyle changes instead of relying on drugs and surgery. Look at healing at the cellular level and detoxifying the body. We look at customized and personalized versus a one size fits all. It's proactive and it's holistic. Emphasizes epigenetic control. So you have control over all your genes that hereditarily pass down to you. It's like a light switch. And guess what flips on the light switch? If you don't want a gene activated, you want it to stay off, for diabetes, for example, is you just don't turn the switch on. Lifestyle is the switch. When we look at holistic system priorities instead of symptom priorities, the cost savings is tremendous in quality of life, in medical bills piling up later, in prevention of disease. So how many of you know someone who has died of cancer or heart disease? Maybe you have someone in your family, just by having heart disease, you're going to be spending potentially up to $4 million per year in healthcare costs as you get older, something that was 100% preventable. Heart disease is 100% preventable. Cancer care, you could be spending upwards of $250,000 a year in healthcare costs for a condition that is preventable. Meanwhile, Western medicine says these are both related to your genes and you can't really do anything about them. That is a myth. You're totally preventable. Here's a crazy thing about our symptom care versus systems care, is painting the fish again. Remember, when you start painting the fish gold instead of dealing with its health on the inside, you end up with epidemics of disease. 88 million people in the US are pre-diabetic. Heart disease starts manifesting 24 to 40 years before diagnosis. And guess what? You can test for those early stages of heart disease and do something about it rather than waiting until you're 70% blocked in your heart and then going in for triple bypass surgery. Cancer starts 15 to 20 years before diagnosis. Alzheimer's is 30 to 50 years before diagnosis. So you can't wait to take your health seriously. Remember what I said earlier? When is the best time to plant a fruit tree? It's 20 years ago, so you can enjoy the fruit now. So the number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States is due to unexpected medical bills. And so in the US, when we have these linear choices in healthcare, one drug, one symptom, you're just basically masking the problem, or you get the surgery, by using your insurance to manage your symptoms. And then you wonder, how your health fails after 15 to 20 years of putting a Band-Aid on it. Your health insurance is there for the crisis when that happens, not for your health or wellness. We've been sold a myth that you need to be on medications to be healthy, but that's really just a system profiting by managing the symptoms of your disease process. That's a system that's profiting off of your disease process. I'm going to say that again. I just repeated myself, and it's because it's so important. Unfortunately, when you've waited too long, then it can be helpful and a good thing that that's there for when their crisis occurs. But this medical model can be very expensive overall. What's more expensive? Getting your roof fixed, call in the professional and get it fixed before the rafters and the insides of the house start to rot from all the moisture and the leak? Or is this the better way to go about it? Just trying to, as the water pours through the roof, just catch it with a rain bucket. And now a big storm comes through and it really starts leaking, and you're trying to catch all the water with a bucket. But to fix it at this point, you have to pull the entire roof off. You have to redo the sheetrock. You have to fix the rotting wood. And it's a bigger, more expensive fix and repair than just a small investment when you had the time to just fix the shingles on the roof. So, the time comes when health starts failing, and it happens quick when it does. These people will take care of their car, their pets, and everything else except their own health. Usually after it's too late, then they are willing to do whatever it is to get their health back. So that's what we're going to show you how to do today, is how to get out of that system where we think that the healthcare system is going to save us, because the majority of Americans are frustrated with the system. Not only is it expensive, but it's typically one of those linear results where you're not getting residual results with your health. So what we want to do is in our process, we've learned that there's a simple process to look at two simple things. Where is the causes, where on the left there, where are the causes of inflammation, and where is it coming from, and what are the interferences? You got to look at potential peptide and hormone and nutritional deficiencies and how that's impacting energy. There on the right side, we've got to look at the interferences, the things that are biotoxins, that blocking normal energy, emotional, stress, infections. Those can be all interferences. So let's just really quick, what I want to ask you guys on the webinar right now, just shoot it straight with me. Why does your health matter to you? And I want to share this, as I was doing some introspection on this webinar today before we were, as I was preparing this afternoon. It was a busy day in the clinic, but I realized I love my health because it improves my relationships. It improves financial stability. When I'm at my healthiest, I'm a nicer person. I'm happier. I enjoy serving others more. And I'm more valuable to my community. And I go out of my way to do things for others in the community. And so I don't feel like a victim or that I'm overworked. I also find that I'm more confident. When you look good and feel good, your confidence goes up, right? It also generates more financial stability when your health is abundant. I know I can rely on my health to earn a living and support, me and my, everybody around me in a better way. If your health is failing you, you lack dependability on your health and the stability that provides. So the more I invest in my health now, I realized I know that in the future, I'll have my health to enjoy more time, more freedom, to do the things I want to do. There's nothing quite like the peace of mind that comes with knowing that my health is thriving as time marches on, instead of wishing and waiting for things to change and getting worse. So I've created health. I've created my health, and I've set myself up for the future for me and my loved ones, actually. And so you guys ready to jump into this Accelerate method, a method that we put together with some research and brought in some world leading health experts that I've studied with. We're bringing this forward to you guys. It's helped us develop this method, and it's called the Accelerate method, and it helps to convert inflamed fat into energy and increase your metabolism. So let's introduce you to the Accelerate method, how to reclaim your health in 3 days. So there are 4 stages to what have to happen. Again, you have to reset and then you have to recharge, and then you have to restore. So reset is the mindsets. It's your adrenal response. It's your hormones. Recharge is getting your energy at the DNA level, the mitochondria level, and then detoxifying the body. Number 3 is restoration of your metabolic flexibility, restoration of your gut health, and brain health, your cognition. When you put those 3 resets, recharge and restore together, it allows you to reclaim your confidence, your health, your lifespan, and improve relationships. So we do this through 6 different phases. Now, this was very interesting that as we go through each one of these, I'm going to show you exactly how it looks in going through each one of these phases. So the HPA axis, then the liver and thyroid, then the DNA and genomics, kidney recharge. Number 4 is repair leaky gut and remove biotoxins. 5 is mitochondria, reboot, bringing back superhuman energy. And number 6 is metabolic flexibility and life extension. So the adrenal glands, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, is called your HPA axis. So we've got to reset this. We've got to reset the HPA axis. And then, the first thing to reset the blood sugar as well, because here's the pop quiz. The diagnosis part of this whole process is these questions are for each of you to either raise your hand or take notes on this. It's so important. This is a little quiz for you. So here we go. Do you like to have more fat around your belly than you like? Sorry. Do you have more fat around your belly than you would like to have? Number 2, do you have high blood pressure or a family history of heart disease? Number 3, do you have high levels of blood triglycerides? Number 4, do you retain water easily? 5, do you have patches of darker colored skin or little bumps of skin called skin tags at your neck or armpits or other areas? Do you have polycystic ovarian syndrome or erectile dysfunction if you're a man? Do you have a family member with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes? So if you answered yes to any of these, you have already got the beginning stages of insulin resistance. So give yourself a score from 1 to 7 if you answered all 7, or how many. If you answered yes to at least 1, you have got insulin resistance, and it's time to take action. Because when you have insulin resistance, it is setting you up for fatty liver disease, weight gain, high blood pressure, heart disease, potentially cancer, type 3 diabetes, which is dementia, and full-blown diabetes. So you risk, amputating your feet at the end. It's just terrible. So it's a vicious cycle to metabolize sugar. What happens is when you eat pizza, for example, your stomach digests it, it hits the gut, and then it triggers a physiological craving for more of those foods that are terrible for you, that give you a dopamine spike. So pizza does give you a dopamine spike, and you don't realize it when you open that bag of Reese's peanut butter cups or Cheetos. It's a subconscious pattern of reinforcement and imbalance that is draining your energy and is feeding the fire of inflammation. So that is the first phase, is to reset the insulin resistance and blood sugar. So as you're at your regular doctor, when you go there, they might check your blood sugar and insulin resistance functions in the body, and a lot of it goes missed. They're not testing the right things, and so they may tell you, your blood sugar looks great. With hypertension and insulin resistance, what happens is people are in a fight or flight response, and this has primed up the pump for constricting the blood vessels, and it increases the heart rate. So you got 2 factors there that are going to put cardiovascular stress. Well, turns out insulin turns this process on, because when you have too much insulin, because of resistance, system activates the fight or flight response. And blood pressure won't go down until insulin goes down. So you've got to reverse insulin. You got to reset. So you got to get rid of junk food. Here's your homework step. You got to get rid of junk food, desserts, processed foods, and alcohol. Those all have to go. This is step 1 of your reset. Okay. Now, number 2, we're going to talk about, do you really have a healthy thyroid hormones? How many of you have had your thyroid tested before? It's really important. So what are the early signs of thyroid and hormone imbalances? So some of the balance, we're going to look at teach you what the early signs are, what the early symptoms are. So dangerous signs of thyroid and hormone interferences. So do you have digestive challenges? Do you have mood issues? Do you have unexplained weight fluctuations? Do you have skin problems? Do you have difficulty with temperature changes? Do you have changes in your vision or hair loss or memory problems or brittle nails? So this is a questionnaire. Also, dangerous signs of thyroid hormone interferences is trouble sleeping, tiredness and fatigue, difficulty concentration, weight gain, dry skin and hair, depression, frequent heavy periods, joint and muscle pain. If you answered yes to any of these, there's a high likelihood that you have an issue with your thyroid hormones. Why is this so important? Because it's just a tiny little gland with a big function. The thyroid regulates breathing, regulates heart rate, regulates your central and peripheral nervous system function. It regulates your body weight, your muscle strength, your menstrual cycles, body temperature, regulates your cholesterol and your metabolism. It's your thyroid gland is responsible for manufacturing enough thyroid hormone to trigger your cells to perform and function at a certain rate. And if it's not happening, your whole system, your whole body is not going to function right. And one of the things that gets missed, but we've been told, thyroid is independent from everything else in your body, but it has an effect on every single organ in your body. Okay. So your thyroid gland uses iodine from the foods you eat to make two main hormones, T3 and T4. And the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands in the brain work together with your adrenal glands, which is your stress glands, to maintain those proper levels. So most of what we really want is our thyroid, is it getting the signal from the brain to produce T4, which it mostly produces? Even if your labs show normal on your, it's because your doctor doesn't run all the labs that are necessary. So you got to check T3, T4, free T3, free T4, T3 uptake, reverse T3, thyroid globulin antibodies, thyroid peroxidase antibodies. We look at thyroid autoimmune testing. If you don't get the correct test on your thyroid, you run the risk of missing the most important things that's at the root cause of why your thyroid is not functioning correctly. Or often what we find is the thyroid is functioning great, but it's the immune system leading to Hashimoto's and Graves' disease or Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So 90% of our patients that we test actually don't have a thyroid problem, even though they have the thyroid symptoms. The thyroid isn't the problem. It's an autoimmune disease. All right, so now the impact of drinking water with fluoride in it affects the human thyroid. So elevated fluoride from drinking water impacts your thyroid hormone. And over time, the application of standard household water purification, if you don't do this, like such as reverse osmosis or electrodialysis, carbon filtration, it's recommended for patients with hypothyroidism because they have a higher consumption of drinking water. So the purification systems can help remove fluoride that interferes with your thyroid. So fluoridated water from your tap is going to end up interfering with your thyroid over time. Here's what we have to do with the thyroid. We have to, using peptides, we have to reset the HPA blood sugar and thyroid reset. So for example, we've got epitalon, and then we got Selank and Cmax. So these are the three main peptides that really start resetting those aspects, the thyroid, the DNA expression. Selank calms the inflamed brain. It's antimicrobial, and then Cmax increases memory and repairs brain neurons. This is all, of course, based on what your tests reveal. One of our patients, Tara, 51-year-old female, she had fatigue, brain fog. Our tests that we ran proved she had thyroid autoimmune disease, insulin resistance, brain fog, digestive issues. So she was tired. She was so fatigued. She was so suppressed. She couldn't wake up in the morning. Her legs and her head felt like concrete. She was forced to work part-time and bills were starting to mount. Medication seemed to be the only answer for her. She was toxic. She had thyroid medications made her either wired or tired. She gained over 60 pounds in 3 years. She was inflamed. And Tara was depressed. She was anxious. She used food for comfort. She's just on this downward cycle. She had to cut work part-time and bills became overwhelming. She decided to stop treating her thyroid symptoms and start repairing the damage. So we got the correct tests. These are all of the tests that we ran: TSH, T4, free T4, total T3, free T3, reverse T3, all the ones that I mentioned earlier. And turns out she did have Hashimoto's autoimmune, but her liver was also one of the big components that wasn't converting her thyroid hormones. So we had to do a detoxification. Then we found out, that there's no guesswork when you do the correct tests. And you'll get the results that you can feel and see in your body and in your health. So we put her on the right peptide therapy based on her lab results. We knew exactly which peptides to prescribe. And then she enrolled her in our comprehensive 3-4-5 method of thyroid hormone and immune system reset accelerator course. So teaching her how to transform her own health from the inside out. Results 7 months later, we always say this is not a quick fix. So Tara said now she's lost 45 pounds. She's cut her thyroid medications in half. And my endocrinologist is shocked because my TPO antibodies are down 600 points. So that her immune system just went into remission. She's been able to work full time and pick up extra shifts, and she's made an extra $70,000 more this year than I did last year. So her investment in her health paid off 10 times already. She says, thank you, Pinnacle Integrative Health. So once again, you have two options: dirty fishbowl and drugs, paint the fish so it looks healthy, or you can clean up your inner environment, repair the damage that's been done to your body up till now, and start burning fat for energy, clean up the inflammation, increase energy, look and feel better. This is the diagram again, explaining linear results, which is the little hop skip at the bottom where you get nowhere with your health, or that curve upward where you make changes and you have residual results that are compound interest over time. So we can agree, I think, that you want residual results with your health. You don't want to just bounce along. So those are the results that are going to pay over time. Imagine how you're going to feel in your 50s and your 60s and 70s, feeling better than you do right now. So how many of you are ready to take action so that you can reach your health goals for good? How many of you are going to start implementing some of the things that we talked about in terms of cutting out, drinking more water and filtering your water and cutting out sugar? That's one of the first action steps that you can do. In addition to that, one of the options is we could just end it here and send you out and wish you all good luck. We've been very busy helping other patients in the clinic today, but we could also give people an opportunity to connect with us. And so we blocked off some time on my schedule and my team's schedule for a consultation for a full hour where we will do an Accelerate Wellness evaluation and see how we can take your health to the next level. And I think as you're all going through this challenge over the next 3 days, make sure you tune in tomorrow to learn about tomorrow's topic. We're going to take your health to the next level. I think you're going to see that there's so many intricate ways that our insights can help all of you, so many of you, make those shifts in your health. So I'll explain to you what the process looks like, because how many of you would like to say, I would love to get an evaluation? And even if you're someone who's already in a program or you've worked with us in the past, there's all new insights that we're going to be giving you during this evaluation. So you won't want to miss it. And I know there's some new insights I've shared with you because I've worked with some of these incredible experts in the field of peptide therapy and regenerative medicine and stem cell therapy and functional medicine. So I wanted to share with you some of the insights that I've gained over these last few months and years. So We've blocked off a big chunk of time on my schedule over the next couple of days and next week. So normally these Accelerate Wellness evaluations are $287 in terms of what the time has been, in terms of value, and as well as the value you receive out of that evaluation and an analysis visit for the amount of time that we're spending with you. So from $287, anyone who schedules to this evening will receive $200 discount off that Accelerate Wellness evaluation. So it's only $87. And so we only have a few spots open for that $87 evaluation, and a few spots available next week, I think. So don't wait around for that. So there should be a way to look on my schedule, and there should be a link there that Sam can provide, so you can take a look, see what works on our schedule. I've set it up and blocked it out, and there is a way to make your $87 payment to set that aside as well. So it's time to decide: stay content with where you are in life, or take action and accelerate to a brighter future. It's totally up to you. And if you do not change the direction of your health or your life, you may up where you're headed. So many of you don't realize it. Remember when I talked about those special lenses that you're going to put on? The fishermen who can see under the water and see where the fish are. You don't even realize that you're headed down a path that you can't see, where you're headed, or you're up against something in your health that could be devastating. Just today I was speaking with one of our patients, and he said to me regarding how much better he has been doing and feeling. He said, "Daniel, I wish I would have, done this years ago." He came in after doing a consult with us over, 3 years ago, and he had a fatty liver disease. He was 40 pounds overweight. He had arthritis in his knees, and he said, "Daniel, I just wasn't ready yet. My health had to get worse before I realized, that my health is the number one thing. And now I feel like I'm younger, I've got more energy. And I just wish I wouldn't have wasted those 3 years, all that time that went by trying to figure it out on my own, just to save a few bucks." So now after a few short months, he's just totally turned all that around. And his one regret is just not getting started sooner. So take his story to heart. If you're here on this 3-day challenge, you should be commended for taking that first step. And one thing I want to offer you is 100% clarity guarantee. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So if we find that we cannot help you during that consultation, we will find someone who can, and you'll be refunded the cost of your consultation. The $87 is 100% refundable. Also, if you leave that consultation, that analysis evaluation visit, and you feel like you didn't get the value of the clarity, I'm giving 100% guarantee that you're going to get clarity on that visit. And if you don't feel like you did, then you just let me know and we will refund that $87. So we're going to discount it because we really appreciate you and we're glad you're here. So I just want to share what Jana had to say. She said, they are super helpful getting me back on track with my thyroid. She had Graves' disease. They helped me before, and I got lazy with my eating and stress management. Now I'm back on track and I'm feeling much better again. Love these guys. They really know what they're doing. It's an amazing clinic. So evaluation can be done virtually via Zoom, or it can be done in office. Obviously, we like to see you in person. There's nothing quite like energy in live person, but this can be done remotely and virtually over a Zoom visit. So it's up to you on, in terms of where you live in relation to our clinic location. A lot of people ask, how long is it going to take to get results? Well, most of our patients start seeing results in as little as 4 to 6 weeks. You start knowing that you're on the right path when you start doing the right thing. What lifestyle changes have to be made? Well, you have to be open to making those lifestyle changes, things like fitness, changing your nutrition and your diet, the way you eat, or maybe how you handle stress. We teach you and mentor you all along all of those aspects. And is it affordable? I'm on a fixed income. Well, we work with single moms, single dads, people, retirees on fixed incomes. And we're always able to find a way to make it fit their budget and not add more stress to the whole situation. So the majority of our patients that start working with us, that we accept into our program, we're able to make it work for them. So that's a good question. So we are going to end day one. I look forward to seeing you guys on day two. Sam is my assistant on the webinar today. So she's going to be sharing a link with you. And then we're also going to be following up with you to make sure you get scheduled if you're going to do that. And I just want to address any questions that we might have here. So check in the chat box. Yeah, any questions from anyone? Chandrain, transfer laptop. Okay, Anita. Okay, awesome. So it looks like no questions at this time. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and end the webinar. Thank everybody for coming and arriving. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow for even more information on how to the 3-day weight loss challenge. Thanks everybody. Super grateful you came on the webinar tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Okay. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you and talking to you.